shrimp Alfredo.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another upload. Been a while since we talked about Plants vs. Zombies, huh? Look, I'm just gonna cut to the chase. My 50-question Q&A special, please go watch it if you haven't already, took a bit of a toll on me. So, I thought it'd be fun to chill out with a video on a familiar topic. I even thought it'd be fun to put my recently revealed interest in game design to the test. So, in this video, I'm gonna be redesigning 5 plants from Plants vs. Zombies 2 and Plants vs. Zombies 2 China collectively. I'll be redesigning their appearances, present concepts for how they'd be animated, and rework their abilities in the context of both games. No need for a longer intro. Let's get right into it, starting with... Sorry in advance if I'm the one who has to introduce you to this thing, but this is Pomegranate, or Machine Gun Pomegranate if you want to be a nerd about it. I'm sure a lot of you know who this is, but just in case you don't, Pomegranate originates from Plants vs. Zombies 2 China, which is a whole another can of worms compared to Plants vs. Zombies 2 International. It's got additional worlds, more plants, more zombies, and a variety of extra content. And of that extra content is Pomegranate here. I've got a complicated relationship with Pomegranate. On one hand, I don't like it, and on the other hand, I don't like it. Pomegranate spits pomegranate seeds in a radius around them. Their attack style is pretty close to that of Snapdragon and 3-Peter, in that they attack in a 3x2 radius, and that zombies too close to them will absorb all of their projectiles. Their attack is also closer to a scattergun, with the machine gun aspect of their name only being showcased when given plant food. That's not to mention that they're extremely weak, with their shots missing zombies a tile above and below their attack range. Granted, they get stronger past level 1, but what plant doesn't? All of this at the cost of 325 sun, and it's safe to say that you've got a pretty shitty plant. So, let's redesign them. For starters, 325 sun is way too much for what we want to do with them. For the sake of balancing them with pvz2 International, 175 sun is a much fairer price. That projectile absorption is gonna give them a 25 sun edge over Snapdragon. We also want Pomegranate to deal more base damage than Snapdragon, as Snapdragon's attack pierces through zombies, while Pomegranate seeds don't. Of course, we'll also make it so that their shots won't miss zombies in these 2 tiles. And what the heck, we'll keep their 3.5 plant food attack radius just to give them that extra edge over Snapdragon. Just remember, we aren't trying to make one plant better than the other, we just want them to coexist together. Now that they've got their base stats covered, let's talk about the leveling system. In pvz2 International, most plants can be leveled up to 10, 15, and 20 respectively, and upon reaching their max level, can be upgraded to Mastery up to Mastery level 200. In pvz2 China, most plants can be leveled up to 3, 4, and 5 respectively, and can unlock a plethora of new abilities apart from increased health and damage. Level up stats aren't that important to bring up, well, except pvz2C's. But for the sake of completion, I thought I'd let you know that in pvz2 International, Pomegranate would require 250 seed packets to unlock, could be upgraded to level 10, and unlocks Chance to Boost and Damage Pierce at Mastery level 1. As for pvz2C, Pomegranate already has level up stats up to level 4. However, I'd like to propose the idea for Pomegranate to unlock the Splatter Gun upgrade at level 5. This upgrade gives Pomegranate the chance to fire a barrage of seeds, similar to Pea Shooter's level 2 upgrade in pvz2C. And now, to talk about their design. I initially wanted to go an entirely different direction with them, but realized that they didn't really feel like Pomegranate. So, I decided to clean up what worked about their design and add some pvz2 flair in places that needed it. Culminating in this. I even gave them a new costume based on their original color palette, and a new name, Pomegunner. Nothing wrong with Pomegranate, but I felt like this rolled off the tongue much better for me.
Official flower business.
Switching over to pvz2 International, we have Sundew Tangler, who's so close to being a plant I'd like, but is just barely off the mark. It's definitely a design thing, because I enjoy their personality as a seemingly innocent trickster who entangles zombies for sun. But, man, the execution kills it for me. This is a problem I find in a lot of new pvz2 plants, where I'll see a design and go, yeah, that could work, before seeing it in motion. Again, Sundew Tangler is so close, but I think they need a bit of reworking. Sundew Tangler is a plant that can trap zombies who walk over it, ensnaring them to deal damage and produce sun. Zombies ensnared will also act as walls for other zombies, and Sundew Tangler itself is immune to most forms of damage, such as being crushed, transformed, pulled, frozen, and so on. Thankfully, Sundew Tangler isn't free, and actually has a long enough recharge. But at the same time, Sundew has a little too much for my liking. So let's rework it. For starters, Sundew seems to serve the role of a support plant. You shouldn't rely on Sundew as your primary sun producer, but you also shouldn't deny the benefits of using them as a secondary sun producer. So, we're gonna make Sundew Tangler deal 0 damage. This stems from a problem related to the leveling system, in which Sundew starts to deal so much damage that it kills zombies before producing any sun from them. Pair this with Sundew's ability to negate armor, and you've got a bit of a busted plant. To make up for this removal though, we're gonna make it so that ensnared zombies are given the Sunbeam effect, incentivizing players to kill the zombies trapped within Sundew Tangler to produce sun and let the plant refresh. Its plant food effect will also remain the same, just replacing the damage component with the Sunbeam component. Finally, let's make Sundew a bit more vulnerable. While I don't think this plant should be edible, it should definitely be capable of being crushed, pulled, and frozen. Sundew Tangler already has level up stats in pvz2 International, although I'd replace the damage ability with sun production instead. As for pvz2 China though, I added back its ability to deal damage as an upgrade, along with the ability to produce big sun at level 5. pvz2C is unbalanced enough as is, so I figured a plant capable of stunning, damaging, and producing sun from zombies wasn't the end of the world over there. As mentioned previously, Sundew Tangler's design is barely off the mark for me, so my redesign is pretty faithful. I did try to make them cuter by rounding out their head shape, simplifying their trichomes, and giving them some characteristics that the classic plant designs have. I also got rid of their plant base, as it's usually not visible in actual Sundews. Their leaves even curl in like little fists, hinting at their true personality before the zombies get ensnared. Next comes the color, and behold! And while you're beholding, their costume is actually inspired by a beholder from D&D, which is a powerful aberration with multiple eye stalks. However, it appears that Sundew Tangler went a little easy on the accuracy, given their impression to uphold. Going back to China, shifting back to pvz2 China, we've got a plant that needs an introduction because nothing about them is memorable in the slightest. Bambrook, or Bamboo Bro. I really don't like Bambrook. Not only are they one of 4 bamboo plants in pvz2c, not only are they severely underdesigned, and not only are they mechanically uninteresting, but... Actually, no, that's about it. They're just boring and ugly. Still, I'm not one to suggest problems and proceed to do nothing about them. Let's dissect Bambrook. Bambrook is an extremely simple plant. When a zombie gets too close to them, they'll push them back ever so slightly and act as a walnut. The only interesting trait Bambrook has about them is that they can actually heal themselves. However, this trait is extremely outclassed by another plant from pvz2 China, Ant, which has healing so strong that it can withstand being eaten by over 10 zombies while dealing enough damage to kill them. There's also Aloe, a plant designed to heal defensive plants. So, giving a defensive plant the ability to heal themselves while still having the same health as a regular walnut is a questionable decision. Out of every plant in this video, Bambrook is probably going to be the most redesigned. Still, I'm going to keep them a defensive plant, just with a little less health than a walnut. However, we're going to play more into their knockback ability. It's so subtle and they only do it the first time a zombie approaches them. Instead, we're going to make them perform a 1-tile knockback that deals 25 damage every 12 seconds. Not as strong of a knockback as Charred Guard, but theoretically has unlimited uses. This also allows Bambrook to quote-unquote heal themselves without directly healing themselves, providing a reason to use Aloe. They could also heal themselves through their plant food effect, along with knocking back zombies in front of it back 5 tiles. In pvz2 International, Bambrook would require 250 seed packets to unlock, could be upgraded to level 10, and unlocks Chance to Boost and Toughness bonus at Mastery level 1. Of course, Bambrook already has level up stance in pvz2c, but for the sake of their redesign, Bambrook unlocks more health and damage at levels 2 and 3, has a chance to be boosted when planted at level 4, and unlocks the Not So Dumb upgrade at level 5, giving them the ability to deal 1,300 damage upon being eaten. Now, you're probably wondering what Bambrook looks like, considering how much I dislike their design and how much I've redesigned them thus far. Well, allow me to introduce you to... Bamboo Dummy. I know, this is a change. I really wanted to keep the integrity of Bambrook's original design, but with how many bamboo plants there are in pvz2c, I figured I'd come up with something more unique. Bamboo Dummy is based on a Wing Chun dummy, which is used by martial artists to practice Wing Chun Kung Fu and other Chinese martial arts. As such, Bamboo Dummy makes for the perfect defense against clumsy zombies willing to run or crash into them. Sorry to the one Bambrook fan out there who had to see their favorite plant become something entirely new. They also have a costume. Guess every scratch needs time to heal. I wonder who was so kind as to bandage them up. Wonder how many of you saw this one coming. Tomb Tangler is... weird. When you see what Tomb Tangler is believed to be based on, you can kinda see what they were going for. But, look, this plant is ugly as hell. However, I'm not gonna undermine that aspect of their design. Let's just clean them up a little bit. Tomb Tangler can be planted on gravestones, destroying them and adding 80% of that gravestone's health onto Tomb Tangler's health. Tomb Tangler also emits a fog from its mouth that slows zombies. Additionally, zombies within that slowing fog have a 50% chance of being pulled into the ground. On top of that, Tomb Tangler will simply damage zombies that cannot be pulled into the ground, some of which include gargantuars, imp cannons, pianist zombies, yetis, catapult zombies, zombonis. You see, that's just too much fucking stuff. I'm cool with Tomb Tangler being a direct upgrade to Gravebuster, but you can just tell that half of its additions are due to Arena. So, let's simplify Tomb Tangler a little bit. To start off positive, we're gonna keep Tomb Tangler's defensive capabilities intact. After all, Tomb Tangler needs something for how uncommon graves are. However, we're gonna increase its recharge and health to that of a walnut. Combine that with 80% of a max gravestone's health, and its 50% slowness effect, and Tomb Tangler offers 9,120 health for 25 sun. On the other hand, we're going to remove its ability to pull zombies into the ground, considering its existing role as a defensive staller. Because of this, Tomb Tangler's plant food effect will now tangle random zombies on the board, creating 2,500 health zombie walls, akin to the likes of Ice Bloom, Gumnut, and Sundew Tangler. Like Sundew Tangler, Tomb Tangler has level up stats in pvz2 International, although I'd remove the damage and fog pull tick time ability for tangled zombie health instead. As for pvz2 China, I added back its ability to pull zombies into the ground as an upgrade, as I think Tomb Tangler could make better use of it in that game. On top of that, Tomb Tangler unlocks the Tomb Thorns upgrade at level 5, which allows them to create spike rock-like thorns in the ground at approaching zombies. Now, let's talk about Tomb Tangler's design. Given how specific their ability is, it's kind of hard to redesign them entirely. As I mentioned before, you can see what they were going for. So, I took their design and simplified it. I reworked Tomb Tangler to be a much simpler plant, so I believe that this decision was in order. Of course, they still have their mouth, but this time, it opens when zombies get close. I also got rid of all the rock and gravel and saved their arms to be revealed in their plant food effect. Now all that's left to do is to reveal them in color, and voila! They also have this costume, which seems to make up for their lack of a mouth, or is some attempt at being more approachable? Burdock Batter is a plant whose concept is great, but whose design and execution leave a little to be desired. If you're looking for a strong plant that seems to outclass Torchwood in most aspects, then you're in luck. However, if you're like me and prefer something a little more balanced, then you're also in luck. Burdock Batter can hit peas that pass through them, hitting either a straight ball, which travels faster and deals more damage, or a curved ball, which is lobbed and stuns the farthest zombie in the lane. Burdock Batter also has a melee attack when zombies get too close, which slightly knocks back zombies from in front or behind it. In my opinion, this is a lot for a plant to have. And this isn't just a jab at Burdock Batter. I think pvz2 International Torchwood has just as many unnecessary abilities. So, let's rework the way Burdock Batter functions. Like Torchwood, Burdock Batter does not need to have a melee attack, especially one that attacks forwards and backwards. To compensate for this though, we'll give Burdock Batter the health of pvz2 International Torchwood. Next up, their abilities. burdock batter is meant to sacrifice damage output for status effects, but it's currently very inconsistent. So we'll make all Ps hit by burdock batter deal 4 times as much damage. Additionally, if a zombie is more than 2 tiles away from burdock batter will always hit curveballs. Whereas if a zombie is within 2 tiles from burdock batter will always hit straight balls. And when given plant food, the next P that burdock batter hits will push a group of zombies to the start of the lawn and stun them in place. Finally, we'll just lower its attack rate and boom, we've got a consistent support plant akin to Torchwood. In pvz2 International, burdock batter would require 250 seed packets to unlock, could be upgraded to level 10, and unlocks chance to boost and damage pierce at mastery level 1. As per usual, burdock batter already has level up stats in pvz2c, but for the sake of the redesign, burdock batter unlocks an increased knockback and stun duration at levels 2 and 3, has the chance to be boosted when planted at level 4, and unlocks the home run upgrade at level 5, giving them a chance to hit a piece so hard that it turns into a fireball, dealing splash damage, stunning, and knocking back a group of zombies. Finally, their design. It wasn't until after I finished their line art when I stumbled upon their concept art on the PvZ wiki, and I'm still baffled that this is the design they settled on. However, I do like these personalities and the idea of 2 plants in 1, so I settled on this design. I wanted to capture how I imagined a burdock batter to look like, equipped with little leaf arms and a burdock bat. It may be a bit more on the nose, but I think it looks and animates more clearly. And for my favorite part, let's see the final render. All that's left is its costume, which is a pair of new baseball outfits, and a new name, which was inspired by the phrase, "Hey Bada Bada, swing Bada." With that, Berta Bada has finally come into their own, and that's our final redesign. And there you have it. 5 plants redesigned to my liking, and hopefully your liking as well. I've never done a video like this before, but I hope this excuse to talk about PvZ, game design, and showcase my art made for some solid entertainment. I also want to give a huge thank you to my friend and artist Pocket Painter on Instagram, who did all the coloring and shading for each of the final plant renders, including the costumes. I could not imagine these looking as good if I were the one coloring them. But that's about it. I don't have a lot more to say that hasn't been said already. I really hope you enjoyed this video, as simpler and relaxed as it was. And I hope you stick around for the next one. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.